Hey guys, I'm so grateful that you have come out today to see this speech that I have for you. Um, just a reminder, take notes later because it'll help you in focusing on what I have to say today. That's pretty important in a drastic problem in the United States. I want to start off with a woman named Malala. Now, most of you do know Malala. She's pretty famous. She's an advocate for education and the support for education for girls around the world. In fact, she won a Nobel Peace Prize for what she stood up for in education. And so her story is kind of crazy. She's from Pakistan, and she was one time going to school, and she got shot in the back of the head, and she survived. And she's been in the US and she's spoken with world leaders. She overcame this challenge in her life. And she has been an advocate for change and specifically for education. So I want to talk to you today about education because not only Malala sees a huge impact education has, but if our people are not educated, and we stand low in the ranks of education as a nation, then evil will spread and terrorists will spread. For it is Malala that once said, education is the power terrorists can never have. She said something along those lines. She said that if we have education, terrorists can't defeat us. If we focus on education as a people, then we become stronger. This is what knowledge is all about. This is how we can overcome trials as a nation. So I want you guys to think about who we are as educators, who we are as people who have been educated. I know many of you here have gone to college. You've gotten your degree, you've gotten your master's, you've gotten your PhD, your doctorate, whatever. And I have only gotten my diploma, high school diploma. I am currently a college. So you might be a college student. So you might be thinking, why would I listen to a college student about education and how we can change our education system? Well, I have been to an all-black school in high school. I've been also in DoD schools, which support military kids overseas. Some of the best schools in the world are DoD schools because they hire some of the greatest teachers that apply. I've also been in Omaha, Nebraska, where schools have been very unified with the community. I've been in Arizona for schools where it was very wealthy, where a lot of money ran into the school. So traveling around, because my dad is in the U.S. Air Force, kind of helped me understand what to expect as an educator and as someone who is being educated, and what was best for me and how I was able to focus and how I was able to do well. A couple things I want you to think about here as I get started are some very generalized statistics. Now, always keep in mind what Malala said and how she was an advocate for education. She said along the lines of, as long as we have education, terrorists cannot overcome us because they are not educated. So, to think about a statistic like this, Pakistan is ranked is really low in education. But let's focus as a nation. The United States of America ranked generally, not just math, science, or reading, but generally speaking, the United States of America is ranked 17 in the world, which is scary. 17 countries top the United States of America in education. Math, reading, science, comprehension. Skills that will build a nation. We are ranked number 17. Now the pride of us as Americans, I'm very prideful to be an American. And I honestly think we're the best country in the world, and still do. But if we are ranked number 17, our children who in the future will be politicians, are not as educated or do not have the knowledge compared to these other countries who are ranked above us, we will have a problem. Not only will we fall in math, science, reading, but when the country becomes attacked or we're under attack or people are trying to overthrow or things like this or trade and tariffs, how are we supposed to communicate with that? People who are more knowledgeable will be able to outsell us or overcome us because we are 17. Now, this is just an opinion. This is just a vision I have. But really think about it. If we're number 17, there's no way we can be number 1 in knowledge if we're ranked number 17. So the question arises, how can we fix this? Well, learn from others who are number 1, right? So I did some research. Now, a lot of people think Finland is ranked in number 1 in the world as being the best educators and the best educated. Now, this is true in some instances. For example, Finland is ranked number 1 in science, whereas South Korea and Canada are ranked number 1 and 2 in reading and math. But generally speaking, South Korea is ranked number 1 in the world for being the most educated. Now, think about this great country. They're amazing. They are allies with the United States of America. But if we cannot keep up with our own allies, in this instance, what is the future to hold for us as a people? Okay, so we take a look. What is South Korea? What is Finland doing as educators and as those being educated? What are they doing differently to have more knowledgeable children? And after reading about these statistics, I learned one thing. Pressure in the school systems. Think about how our schools are laid out. Think about that for a second. We come in, we sit down, and we look at a board or we look at a chalkboard, and a teacher stands in the front like I'm telling you right now, and she says, okay, 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 2 is 4, y = mx + b, find the slope. She gives you these procedures to do, and you sit in your seat looking, and you do them. You copy them back, right? The way schools have been set up is not for 2018. They were for the 40s or the 30s or the 50s, because when the industry was so big in coal and in gold, they need to educate people how to get coal or how to get gold and how they can do this. Education was set up for their time. So people would come into the classroom, sit up in the front, sit in the seats, and listen for a direction as to what to do later. We have kept this in our system for years and we haven't changed it. Kids continually come in, sit down, listen to the teacher, be educated. Oh, and you're supposed to know this, and you're supposed to remember this. Oh, and don't forget the test you have tomorrow. And all this homework you need to remember. This is not the setup and the layout that we need to have. In fact, Finland and South Korea, they have school outside. They never give homework. They don't follow standardized testing. Schools outside the US don't worry about what does the kid know or what doesn't he know, but they focus on the importance, and that is pure knowledge. They don't just come into a classroom, sit down, listen to direction, and then go by a standardized test. Because we as the United States of America, we have learned the system and we know how to take a test rather than learning and then taking the test. More times than not, I'll tell you, I sat in a classroom and the teacher told me process of elimination, how to figure out the best answer in a test. Why is this even an option? Why are we teaching our children how to take a test? Why are we using this time to teach the children what they need to know for the future, how to become better business people? What is nuclear power? What is electricity? The history of Benjamin Franklin, the forefathers. We need to be teaching these people so that they have knowledge, but not according to a test so that they get an A or a B on it, because they will learn the system and they will learn how to take the test, but not what's on the test. And that's the difference between Finland and South Korea and us, is they don't do standardized testing. In fact, they don't even go there with their children. And we see the difference it has with their children. These are the effects that are happening on us. More and more children are focusing on what they want. They have phones. They're losing determination. Depression is at an all-time high in the United States. Suicide is at an all-time high in the United States. Marriages is at an all-time low in the United States. Why? Because of what we know. They don't know any better. So teaching people how they can become better educators, how they can become educated, learning from South Korea, Finland, and Canada, the 3 top countries in education, the 3 allies the United States has. By so doing, we will change. And not only will we be 17 in the country, our children and our children's children will change. They will learn and they will grow, and we will become number 1 again. And our defense system will become number 1 again. People will fear America again. We will become stronger and knowledgeable. And not only will this happen, this change happen, but whatever we learn now as a people, that knowledge will go with us into the spirit world, and I truly believe that. This is my call for action. Change something today. If your child is in a school where they are learning standardized testing, you are supporting that system. Figure out something else. Homeschool, private school. Get away from the standardized testing because it is becoming a problem in society. And if you don't see it, look at the statistics. If you want to remain 17, or if you want your child to remain 17th place, instead of being the top and the very best he could possibly be, then continue and support the education system we have now. But if not, take heed to what I have told you today, the statistics I have told you today. Take heed in Malala, somebody who is an advocate for education. And you will see a difference in your child and in this nation. Thank you.